afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? P.O. Box, PC gaming, and the price of games. Now, PC gaming, for the most part, is actually it's a nice medium to jump into if you guys aren't too familiar with it. You don't have to worry about like the aspects of maybe paying for a subscription like Xbox Live or PSN. Way more games at your disposal. You can control what you see, what you hear to a bit way more precise than you can on a console. There's a lot of advantages to it. I'm sure Phil has been talking about trying to get back into it if he could work his PC properly, or if he could mod his PC. He says he has a background in it, but I've yet to see anything in that. But you know, what are you gonna do? Your games that you get for a PC can take you a little bit further. You know, let's debate. I guess you could kind of debate on that. For the price of games in general, price of games are high, to be honest, but they could be higher. In some ways, a lot of people believe that that's what justifies microtransactions, because without them, the price of games would just go up. To be honest, the price of games are going to go up eventually anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But eventually, it will go up. So it is what it is. There's nothing you can really do to make the price go down. But we'll see what the feedback is on that. And a PO box, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having one. I know a lot of fans ask for their favorite YouTubers to open up one so they can send them stuff. It's a cool thing to unbox, to be honest. There's a lot of people who do unboxings. There's this one guy, what's his name? Can't think of his name right now. But I just saw him do an unboxing where he had I think he waited until he had 50 packages stored up, and he went through and opened each and every one of them. It was a cool experience. People sent him some really, really nice stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Phil has trust issues, so I don't know how far he would exactly go with that. But, you know, we'll go ahead and find out. We'll have to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Mr. Stuff's Dspgaming, P.O. Box, plus PC gaming and the price of games. Riveting, I'm sure. Like I said, we'll see what we can make out of that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on at GTG Network and Productions. You guys all know the slogan. Time to watch me work.
So Spawn Killer asks the following. He says, do you still have a P.O. box? I remember you did a P.O. box in the past. Well, long history of this. When I first started on YouTube, I never fathomed I would need anything like that, because I was like, this is just me messing around with games. This is silly. It's not anything serious. Then when I realized I started to get a serious following and I actually started making money doing it as a job, people had a strong desire to send me fan mail, physical letters, artwork, donate games, and set.
Speaking of which, just to kind of reiterate, we're here with Mr. Stuff's Dspgaming, P.O. Box, PC gaming, and the price of games. This was published on June 14th, and I'm currently recording it on the 15th.
Send me stuff from their countries and stuff, a lot of things. So in that regard, people wanted to have me, have a way to reach me, and I didn't want people sending all that shit just directly to my house. So I had a P.O. box, and in Connecticut, when I lived in Connecticut, it was at my local post office. It was very expensive. It was hundreds, if I remember correctly, when they finally wanted me to renew it the last time, it was over $400 a year. What the fuck? That's insane, right? Just for a box and an address to mail stuff to. And honestly, even though at first it worked out very well, at first a lot of people sent me stuff. And I would get fun fan mail, and people would send me games, people would send me collectibles. Over the years, I got lots of cool stuff via the P.O. box. But in general, what ended up happening was I got a lot of crap too. I got a lot of mailings that weren't for me, that were from the previous P.O. box owners, and it was like business mailings and all kinds of garbage. So most of the time when I went to check the P.O. box after a year of having it, it was just junk. Now, I still kept the P.O. box for a good 2 to 3 years when I lived in Connecticut, but then eventually I said, I'm not going to renew it, especially because I have plans to move. And if I move, I don't want to have a P.O. box in here in Connecticut that I paid for and I'm not using, right? So eventually I just got rid of it, okay? Now, when I moved here to the state of Washington, I did get a P.O. box. It was actually a nearby UPS store was selling P.O. boxes. Excuse me. And again, I got a P.O. box, and it was expensive. It wasn't expensive as the post office box I had in Connecticut, but it was still, I believe, between $200 to $300 a year. Okay. Now, again, in that first year that I lived here, 2014 to 2015, I got some fan mail, some people sent me stuff, but in general, there never really was that much that hit the P.O. box. I'd say probably in that year that I had it, maybe 10 things of any importance arrived. You know what I mean? Like a letter.
So basically anything that he wanted, everything else he just thought that was just trash, so he wanted to discard it. Fair enough.
Or something someone donated, something, stuff like that. Very little. And at that point, after moving out here, it was different. Back in the day, from the years of 2011 to 2013, I was making big bank on YouTube. Those were the days of milk and honey, I like to say. The days when everything was, it was like the horn of plenty. Ad revenue was sky high. My views on videos were sky high. And I was making money hand over fist. I didn't care if I pissed away a few $100s a year on a P.O. box. It wasn't a big deal anymore. When I moved out here, ad revenue started to go down, and I had to tighten the belt a little bit, as they say. So one of the things I immediately got rid of after that first year, not really getting any use out of it, was I just got rid of the P.O. box. I said, I don't need it anymore. I'm never going to use it again. And no one really sends anything to it. So I never got it. Now, over the years, people have asked me, Phil, can I send you something? Phil, do you have a P.O. box for fan mail? Phil, the answer is no. I don't have it anymore. Okay? And what I would say is this: I do still accept stuff. You want to send me a piece of fan mail, you want to donate something, you can, but message me first. In particular, email me, darksidephil@hotmail.com.
Gotta go through that security screening, huh? He's worse than the airport. And then the thing is he doesn't even get to everybody's emails. So what's the point of doing that? All you're doing is stacking up more and more trash. Sorry to say that, but you're just stacking up more and more junk, sending people to your fucking email address when you automatically assume they're all trolls anyway, unless you recognize their names. So you're wasting time doing that too. Like I said, you can find his real address. It's readily available. Just send it to him. What can I?
Let's have a conversation about what exactly it is you're going to send me. And if I determine that it is something, number one, that I'm interested in, or number two, that I don't think it would be intrusive for you to send it to me, I'll allow...
Intrusive. So you can't just be happy with whatever they send you. It has to be something that you want, or something that's not going to hurt your back carrying it. Because Lord knows that 15 pounds is a lot. And Phil just can't handle that. He just can't do it.
I'll YouTube.
Even though that Seattle air was supposed to cure that. And the gout. Not the hair loss so much, but the bad back and the gout.
So, for example, some people, I just want to send Phil games. No, please. I don't have a room, I don't just need... People used to just send me stuff all the time. Here, Phil, just have this game. Like, I'm never going to play this. I have no interest in it. And that was one of the things about the P.O. box, was that it was kind of like open season for anyone to just send me anything they wanted, and it ended up becoming a big mess.
Like your house isn't a big enough mess.
Particular, if the P.O. box would get full, then they would harass me. Come pick it up. Come empty the shit out. So
how's that harassment? You're paying for a service. You should be checking your P.O. box every couple of days anyway, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't have to be as frequent as you check your mail. I don't know about you guys, but I check my mail every day. But, you don't have to check your P.O. box that frequent, but, I don't know, every 3 or 4 days doesn't hurt. And if they're calling you and telling you, hey, come get this shit, either A, people are really just sending you shit every day, or it was just like what Phil was doing, where he's not checking his regular mail every day like he's supposed to. Maybe you don't have to check it every day, maybe every other day. And he's waiting like a week to go out there and get all his mail at once because he hates walking. Just saying.
If you're interested in sending me something, run it by me via email. We'll chat about it for a little bit. And if there's interest, I'll let you know, and then you can send it to me directly here where I live. But no, please, do not just send me anything willy-nilly. I don't have a P.O. box where you could just send stuff. It doesn't exist. It's too expensive, and I didn't get enough use out of it anyway. It didn't make any sense for me to do it. So there you go, guys. Wagrange here. He says, in 2012, I asked you about the originality in games and linking the lack of it to the economic crisis of 2008. What's your current opinion about originality? Sadly, right now, what I hate to say with the state of gaming is right now for a lot of these game publishers, the whole mentality has changed because in the 90s and the 2000s, a lot of the mentality was let's put out a great video game that has artistic quality, that's something original, and then we'll sell a ton of it and make money on it. Now it's let's just make money. I don't even care what kind of game we make. I don't care if we follow a trend or if we do something original. We just need to make money. And that's what happens.
That's not the whole industry, though. So you should at least correct that. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you're going to correct that later on, in the next minute or two. Because that's not how the whole industry works. Don't get me wrong, a lot of the industry is looking at it as just a cash grab. It's like anything else and whatnot. That's why there's Battle Royale and everything, which is silly in its own right. And then you have, Blue Balls or whatever the name of that company that does PUBG that's suing, they're suing Fortnite. If you guys aren't paying attention to that case, you should. It's actually kind of interesting, to be honest with you, because there are some interesting aspects that both sides can lean against, but let's say if PUBG did win, PUBG is going to have a problem because they took their idea from somebody else too. And then you get into, and then it can broaden up where if you get a really, really slimy lawyer, he can be like, well, neither one of you guys, started the first-person shooter genre or the third-person shooter genre, and the weapons that you use have been in other games prior to you. So how do you take claim to that? It's a whole rigmarole, but if you guys want updates on that, you can let me know and whatnot, because I'm actually following the case. It's going to be an interesting case to see how that goes. I'm not going to say who's going to win and who's not going to win, because I don't know. But if PUBG doesn't win, they're going to lose a shitload of money on this. And to be honest with you, they could have, if this was really an issue, they could have nipped this in the butt a little while ago. But instead, they let it ride out because they wanted to see exactly how far Fortnite could take it. And now that Fortnite is constantly updating, constantly giving away shit, and really all you're spending money on is cosmetics, and PUBG can't do that. They're not, they're just trickling out maps and weapons and everything else. They're getting butthurt about it. And I guess I can kind of get that, but you can't say it was stealing. The Battle Royale genre was out way before PUBG did it. So, I don't know. Like I said, we'll have to watch that a little closer. That might be interesting, though, if you guys ever want to get into that. You should definitely look it up. It's a pretty interesting read.
When industries become big business. Video games used to be profitable, but now video games are the most profitable thing on planet Earth. That's not an exaggeration. They make more money in a year, video games, than every other industry. Any other industry, they've beaten.
But that's not what makes the gaming industry, that's not what makes video games profitable. It's what you can spin off of that. Like game journalists, and stuff like that. Like it's what expanded from gaming is what makes the gaming industry profitable. That's really what it is. It's not just games themselves. It's being too narrow-minded. It's what circles around gaming culture, so to speak, is what makes it popular, which gets into all kinds of other stuff that I'm not going to get into in the moment, but that's what really makes it profitable.
Every entertainment industry, music, movies, television, they make more money than anything. Video games are the biggest form of profit. So, since it's the big money, everyone wants to get in on it, and everyone wants to make their buck, but no one wants to put in hard work. So instead of having originality...
Sounds a lot like you.
...in gaming...
Matter of fact, he made that same argument when, Tobuscus and iJustine and all them got into gaming when you could start monetizing videos on YouTube. Well, gaming videos on YouTube. He made that exact same argument for that, too. And then he said iJustine was getting gangbanged at the EA... At the EA office by executives and dumb shit like that. Of course, he'll deny that now, or he'll say he's joking, but that's not stuff to joke about, though.
We have the trends. We have the co-op shooters that are incredibly grindy. The story is minimal. It's just about doing co-op shooting with numbers flying out of the enemies, and it's an incredible grind and time waster, and really you could skip every single one of them and miss out on nothing, but it's fun to play with your friends and hang out and play with them, so they end up selling anyway. Or the Battle Royal craze. Every fucking game now needs to have a Battle Royal mode where it's 100 people and only one survives, and scavenging for weapons and shooting each other and being sneaky and trying, Every game has to have it because it's the trend and we want to make quick money, right? Sadly, this is what we're going to see, This is what we're going to see. You're going to see this all the time. You're going to see trends. It's the same thing with movies and television. How many trends have we seen? This is the superheroes right now are the trendy thing in movies, right? Do a superhero movie. But you see different era. There's an era when horror movies are trendy, when sci-fi movies are trendy. I remember during the 90s, it was like action sci-fi was like super trendy, and then it kind of died out in the 2000s. You didn't see that much of that anymore. So times change, things fluctuate, right? You get these trends. Honestly, right now in gaming, it's very hard to see originality. Like, for example, you see a game like God of War that took the plot line of one style of game, completely flipped that game and turned it into a different genre of game, but added crazy good graphics, a great story, great plot, with great voice acting and production values, amazing combat that's very different from the first game, but still very robust, and a ridiculous amount of gameplay in the game. And you look at that game as a work of art, and your jaw kind of drops, and you're like, holy crap, this is amazing. But then you look at the other crap the industry's putting out for the same price as that game, and it's nowhere even equivalent. And that's how you get these discrepancies, is when you get lack of originality and game makers that are putting out games for the sake of putting out something quality versus the sake of putting out a piece of stinking shit, right? And you know what's funny? Because every industry does it. For example, fast food. You could go to Wendy's and you could get a freshly made, fresh beef burger with fresh toppings, a delicious gourmet burger, right? Or you go to McDonald's and you buy a hot...
No one goes to Wendy's to get a gourmet burger. What are you talking about? like you, no, not at all. Like, I don't know what exactly. I'm not sure if you guys actually have like dedicated burger places around you, and certainly not IBOP, because I don't know what IHOP did doing that nonsense. To be honest, that's gonna blow up in their face. They could at least kept the name. They should have kept the name and just said they want to focus on burgers too. They could have just done that, but whatever. I don't know, man. I'm not sure if you guys have like. I mean, if you guys have ever went to like a TGI Fridays, a Chili's, a Red Robin's, a Fat Burger, a Big Kahuna Burger. I would say Jack in the Box, but I'd stay away from that if I was, to be honest. If you really want a really good burger, there are places you could go. I wouldn't go to Wendy's for a gourmet burger though. I would think of like Red Robin's. Maybe like a Chili's or a TGI Fridays, and I wouldn't even call that gourmet, to be honest. But if you want a really well done burger, go to those. I'm actually debating on trying that Big Boss burger from Chili's. I kind of want to try it, but it kind of looks like a heart attack on a bun. But I kind of want to try it. We'll see. Anyway, but yeah, you don't go to a Wendy's or a McDonald's for a gourmet burger. That's not realistic. I mean, unless you're afraid to being around people, then I guess you would go there instead of going into like a Chili's or a TGI Fridays or I guess maybe an Applebee's. I don't know. I guess don't all those places have to go though? I guess Phil could do that. But Phil likes his mail order food though, so it is what it is. To go with that mail ordered soulmate.
Hockey puck for $1. You see what I mean? Like, it's the same everywhere. The difference there, though, is Wendy's is more expensive because it's better. McDonald's is $1. In the gaming industry, you could have two games that are like that. One's like a delicious gourmet experience, and one's a hockey puck, and they're both sold for full retail price. And people will buy the hockey puck. That's the thing that gets me. Like, why the fuck are you still buying these terrible games?
Because people enjoy them. Because people find enjoyment in them. To be honest. Like, buying a game off of just hype alone is just not enough anymore. Hence the reason why Call of Duty and Battlefield just constantly keep kicking out shit each year. It's not worth it anymore. You know what I mean? And then like when you look at like a game like Fortnite that came out for free, well, the original game wasn't free, but the Battle Royale part of it was free. And, people jumped on it and then it got popular on Twitch and then so on and so forth. You want to go where everybody else is playing. Kind of like Cheers, I guess. It's a super old sitcom and whatnot. I just started watching it. TV wasn't bad back in those days, to be honest with you. Now that I'm actually getting a chance to be able to watch it. But anyway, but like, you kind of want to be where everybody's at. You don't want to, unless you like playing games solo, or you like playing single player games. And every once in a while, there's nothing wrong with that either. You know what I'm saying? But the whole industry is built off hype. It is what it is. But the games that he are saying that are hockey pucks or bricks or whatever the case may be, they're not bad games. just because he doesn't like them, and he probably won't finish it anyway because he can't profit off of it. That's his fault. And it's not even that the game is bad. It's just Phil's not entertaining. Phil is not engaging. He doesn't bring anything to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Phil doesn't... You give Phil the best AAA game that comes out in the year, and he's going to fail at it. And he's going to fail at it because he himself has no sense of direction. He doesn't want to take a couple minutes to learn just the basic mechanics or anything like that. And if he does, it means that someone in chat has to walk him through it. He's not entertaining. He doesn't add anything to it. He can't set up the scene for you. He can't set up the atmosphere. He can't immerse you into it. He can't. He just doesn't have that in him for whatever reason. I mean, he's kind of just a dull person, to be honest with you. His mouth is probably the only thing that's interesting about him is because of the dumb shit he says. And then how he'll try to go back and lie on it and say he didn't say it. But he adds nothing to he doesn't add anything to a video game. He doesn't add anything to anything, to be honest with you. Which is... It actually kind of shows in his fan base, to be honest with you. They strive so hard to make him look successful more than he wants to be successful. And that's scary, if you think about it. When your fan base wants to see you successful so bad that they will sit there and go after people's videos, they'll go after people's YouTube and Twitch channels, and more importantly, they'll contribute money to make it look like you have growth on your channel when you really don't. That's kind of scary. That's kind of scary what kind of individuals those people are, and the mindset of them. He talks about the detractors. What about your own fan base? And the nut jobs that are over there, if you want to go as far as calling them nut jobs. Because he has some really quirky ones over there. He really does. And then given what happened to Volt Boy and Argent recently, and then from what I was hearing on Twitter, there were some detractors on Twitter who were on Twitch, and their shit was getting flagged for no reason. Phil keeps talking about all the things that's happened to him, but he's been playing dirty for a while anyway. And certainly so is his fan base. So he's not any cleaner than anybody else. The thing is no one's trying to actively take Phil down. He'll do that himself. Just give him time and give him enough rope, and he'll do it. But Phil is actively trying to get other people. He can lie to you guys to your face and say, oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything at all. Until one of those guys who was doing the dirty work for him decided to grow a conscience and decided to leak out conversations being like, hey, man, this is what happened. This is what he's really been doing. This is who he's gunning after. And then Phil says, oh, I don't know nothing about that. I have no clue. Nothing he could do. Not his fault. It's everybody else's fault.
That's the reason the industry is like it is right now. All right, anyway. Shout out to Kate, who cheers. She says, do you think you'll ever revisit the game called Wet? No, I will not. Oh, my God, Wet? That was one playthrough and done. Are you kidding me? All right. Shout out to Genesis, who did another 100-bit cheer. I said, if you looked at my tweet, would it be great if you could get into PC gaming, quality, etc. Genesis, I don't in particular remember your tweet. A lot of people tweeted me overnight because I asked some questions on Twitter last night. And so a bunch of people actually wrote me answers on Twitter. So I don't know if you were among those or not. But PC gaming, I'm not against it. In fact, I used to do a lot more of it when I was living in Connecticut and before I did direct capture. So fair enough, this was back a different era when I was using a camera to record my gameplay, okay? That's not acceptable anymore. There's no way I could do that and get away with it. I had a high-end gaming PC that I would play the game on, and I would have it hooked to my TV, and I would record my TV with the camera. So back in the day, I played games like Witcher 2, Skyrim, among others. I remember there were a bunch of others. Oh, Rage were all games I played on PC, okay? And I recorded in the old-school style or whatever. So, actually, no, Rage I did direct capture, and I was angry because it was choppy, and I remember now. But anyway, regardless of that, today I do direct capture. The problem is I don't have a gaming PC and a capture PC. I have one PC. And not to say that my PC couldn't handle modern gaming. It probably could handle a lot of modern video games. But at the same time, it probably can't handle capturing or running the game. All right. and me capturing the game for YouTube, and me streaming the game for Twitch all at once. I've tried it. The only times that I can really do it is if the game is very, very like low end. And what I mean by that is, let's say the game is an indie game, you know, one of these pixel art games, or a game that's not very graphically demanding, then I can usually do it. You're talking a game that's like a decade old, right? But in general, new games, there's no way I can do it. The game will chop up and look like crap, and it's just not good. So
it's funny for someone who pays as much attention to Tevin as he does, and don't get it twisted. Praise be Almighty. He does pay a lot of attention to Almighty Tevin. You would think he'd pick up some of the gems that Tevin has thrown down at him, and Tevin's given him quite a bit of good advice, and it's all out there. He can still go back and watch them. He should really go through and listen to what Tevin was saying as it pertains to Twitch and as it pertains to PC gaming. It would help Phil a lot, to be honest.
That's why I'm not a PC gamer. Now, if I had a gaming PC to just run PC games and another PC to capture and stream, then I would be okay with that. But I don't. You know, my setup...
You don't need all that. I mean, in truth, you could just build a rig that could do all that for you, to be honest. Or doesn't Elgato have a PC capture card that you can actually just place into your rig? He could do that too. I mean, obviously he's not technically savvy enough for that, but Kat could probably do it if she's still around. She could do it.
Is as basic as it could possibly be. A bunch of consoles hooked up into an external USB capture device, hooked up into OBS, and just let it record and roll. Okay. Excuse me.
Jesus Christ.
So I am not against PC gaming, but sadly, you know, I just haven't had the viability to do it. When I moved out here, I dumped a ton of money into upgrading my setup. I bought the microphone, the soundproofing foam. You know, I basically did a.
What? You bought two things. You bought a microphone with a pop filter, and you bought a bunch of soundproofing that looked like a 3-year-old put up. Actually, that's a lie. I'm actually insulting the 3-year-old. The 3-year-old probably could have put it up a lot straighter than you did. So what else did you buy? What else did you invest all this money in? Don't get me wrong, soundproofing is expensive. As for your mic, I think Almighty Tevin says he has the same mic. I mean, it probably ran him a couple $100. And the soundproofing, maybe about the same. But what else did you really invest in? Just asking.
Bunch of upgrades. I got a new PC that cost me $3,000. All right, and the PC was great at the time. Keep in mind, this was 4 years ago. It could play every high-end game. The problem was when I tried to play those games and then capture and record, it didn't work. They got choppy. And then it was hilarious because everyone was telling me
you should have gone in and changed your settings, but whatever.
You could do this on one PC. But then when I finally get down to figuring it out, you can't do a normal capture setup. You have to use Shadow Play and other third-party styles, applications to record and encode in a different manner, and that way it uses the GPU instead of the CPU, and you overclock and you do this, and I'm listening to all this, I'm like, I can't do that. You know, I'm a simple guy. I'm a gamer. I'm not a techie.
So what are you trying to say? Gamers are stupid? I'm just saying, let's be honest. You said you're a simple guy and you're a gamer. Are you saying that gamers are stupid? If you're not saying that, then you're admitting that you're an idiot. 2, why is it that everything that people recommend to you, the first response to you is you can't? Why don't you sit down and ask someone to explain it to you? Or you could just go ahead and look it up on Google. That's what it's there for. It is your friend, to an extent. Supposedly Google tracks keystrokes, but that's neither here nor there. Why is it always that I can't? It's always, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. That's not feasible. When is he going to ever say, I'm willing to try? But yet, people want to support you. People want to defend you. And your answer to everything is, I can't, or it won't work, or I don't know. You're not willing to try to save your own life, to save your own business, air quotes. And yet people still find that you're worth saving. I'll never understand. I'll never understand. Uh, at this point, I find that your hardcore fan base that comes out and tries to defend you are more fascinating than you are. Oh boy.
I'm not a fucking guy that knows all the ins and outs of this shit. The bottom line is I'm not going to sit here and try to figure this.
So you can't learn? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying that your intellectual level is at such a point that you're not capable of learning? Every day you draw a breath, you should be able to learn something. Okay. I might be giving you too much credit.
It's out for weeks on end. How am I going to capture it properly by doing it? It's not even worth it. Most of the games I want to play, okay, I can play on console anyway. It's very few and far between when there's actually like a PC exclusive game. There's one, Divinity Original Sin 2, which came out last year. A lot of people said it was their Game of the Year or a nominee for Game of the Year. That was a PC exclusive. A couple years back, XCOM 2 only came out on PC first. Now the thing is, these games eventually get console ports, but when they're new and they're hyped, they're on PC, right? But how many of those a year do we have? 3? Oh no, Phil missed 3 games. He still played 200, right? So it's not like, oh god, it was a giant concern if Phil missed out. And quite frankly, again, if I were to get into PC gaming again, I would want to do it. Then I do have 2 separate setups. I have a dedicated gaming PC. This PC is just for running games, so all the assets and resources are making that game look amazing. And then this PC is for the capturing and the...
How much room do you even have for all that? How much space do you have? And what are you going to do, Phil? You're going to leave your computer on all night like you do now? Or computers, I should say? You're going to run your PlayStation 4 on all night because you're scared to turn it off because you're scared that it won't turn back on? Like, what are you doing? Like, everything that he's describing you can have in one rig. Seriously. You get the right components and you make sure the components are compatible and you're in business. And that doesn't take long. Less than an hour worth of research can get you through that. But you can't do it. It's too hard. You're a simple guy. Come on. I got you, Phil.
Recording and the streaming, and everyone does that. In fact, I actually was talking to Arturo Sanchez, also known as Saban, of the fighting game community. I was talking to him about this a couple months ago. I think I was on one of his random streams I was hosting, and I asked him. I said, is it true that most people who are doing professional streaming of PC level quality are doing a dual PC setup? And he said, yes. Everyone he even knows, he was like, does that.
I'm not gonna call Arturo. I'm not gonna call it Arturo because I got nothing against Arturo. To be honest with you, still probably one of the best Dawson players ever. To be honest, but keep in mind, at least in Arturo's field, people stream too. Like, I'm talking about people are running entire streams for games, and then trying to go ahead and get multiple matches lined up at once. They're doing a lot. It's labor intensive to where you would need 2 high-end PCs to make stuff like that happen. You, Phil, don't need that. You don't need nothing close to it. I don't know why Phil feels the need. That's funny. Why Phil feels the need to get all these always go high end, and he's not even going to use it properly. It's being wasted on him, to be honest with you. So why spend money that you don't have? And you're not even going to learn how to use it properly. You're not going to even learn how to use it properly. So why even bother? It's just like that $3,000 PC and the one that he bought before it. You put that in the hands of someone like myself, or somebody else that's way more tech savvy than myself. Like, put it in Tevin or Argent's hands. Put it in that's Julius Cruz's hand. And they'll go in and mod that shit to hell and turn that shit into a fucking behemoth. But Phil won't do that because he won't take a couple of minutes to go online and look and see how you do it and see what you need to do it. Instead, he'd rather give you guys excuses. And then you're sitting there asking Arturo for information on some shit that Arturo's been doing for years. Like I said, the way Arturo's looking at the question that you're asking and then what you need it for are 2 different things. And I don't know how close you and Arturo are, but I'm sure Arturo would even tell him that, hey man, you really don't need that. I can recommend, if you want a pre-build, which is what Phil will go with, I can recommend you a really good pre-build. You know what I'm saying? To do everything that you would need to do. You don't need a dual PC setup. Phil doesn't anyway. But, it is what it is.
He does it, everyone does it. You have one PC to run the game and one PC to capture and stream, because if you have one doing everything, you're going to have lots of problems. So having the two is like almost an industry standard now.
Industry standard.
That's what I would want to do. And I'm nowhere near being able to do that. I mean, as we've known for the past...
Well, first off, why did you even ask Arturo that? You're a simple person. So, in truth, you weren't going to be able to run that properly anyway. To be honest. So you wouldn't, it'd be wasted on you. It'd be wasted. And let's be honest, Phil, you don't know how to upkeep or preserve anything. You know what I'm saying? Look at his setup now for his consoles. Look at his PCs currently. It all looks like trash because he doesn't take care of it. When's the last time you cracked open that PC, Phil, and just given it a good cleaning out with some pressurized air or something? When's the last time you gone in and changed some components, if you even know how to do that? When's the last time you updated some of your drivers? Someone on Twitter actually brought that up. I think David Davison brought that up. When have you done any type of maintenance on just your consoles in general? Oh, never. Oh, okay. Gotcha. And then you wonder why the PS4 is going out. I mean, the fact that it made it this long is already a surprise in itself. He'd be throwing his money away. If you can't take care of what you have, then there's no need for you to go and get it. Just saying. TSP News.
Few years financially, I'm very tight to the point where I don't even have enough money. I need a new PS4 because my PS4 has constant audio issues, and I can't even afford that. So how in the hell am I going to afford another gaming PC? You see what I mean? It's just not going to happen. Okay.
And yet you can afford to drink four Mountain Dew Kickstarters every day for 6 days straight. Sheesh. And what do those Mountain Dew Kickstarters go for? I've never actually had one, so I don't know. Let's say it's like $1.50. You know what I'm saying? 6 days a week. What's that? 24 a month. You know what I'm saying? Shit adds up, Phil. Maybe if you cut down to 2, you save your money. You never know. Maybe you can ask Cat to chip in. I'm just saying, the little things help.
And it's hilarious because right in the stream chat, Boz just said, "You don't need that. You just need a processor with more than 6 cores to encode for you." I don't know any of that. I'm never going to learn that. You're like talking to a lay person. You're talking to...
Yes, you are talking to a lame person. You certainly are.
A gamer. You're not talking to...
Don't attach that to gamers though. That's Phil's cover. Is, I'm not someone who's savvy in it. I'm a gamer. So you're implying that gamers are stupid then? You know what, Phil? I recommend you go and watch. It's a Gundam. I enjoy his content. I enjoy his content quite a bit. You might learn something, Phil. If you won't listen to Tevin, which you should listen to Tevin, but if you won't listen to him, at least go and watch this guy. Just saying, it would help you. It really would. It really, really would.
To an editor, you're not talking to a PC builder, you're not talking to a techie guy. You're talking to a guy who just wants to sit down, press record, play a game, and have fun, right? I'm not one of these other streamers who has a team of fucking people who come in, or people who went to school for this shit.
You don't have to go to school for this, and most of those people don't have teams. And I don't even know why you even bring that up, because you supposedly don't even watch other streamers. But we all know that's a lie. Like, you don't watch other detractor videos. But you don't need to go to school for that. You can learn that. It just requires you to put some time in. Which Phil's time is so goddamn precious. To sit there and continue his journey to gout, and then diabetes, and then whatever else comes after that. But yet people find the need to support you, though. Like, I don't understand. Like, you say that you have this ambition to do these things, but then you won't do them. You won't take the time, nor will you put the time in to learn how to do these things so you can understand not only how to build it, but how to work it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won't put the time in to do anything. If it's not easy right here, right now, you feel that it's not worth your time. And then you want to hide behind the curtain of being a gamer, which is insulting. Like, what are you doing? But then, to be honest with you, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Maybe this is how he looks at the gaming culture. And maybe that's why he thinks he's so much better than everybody else. Maybe this is why he thinks people are shills. This is why he thinks people are idiots for supporting certain games or certain companies. He looks at people as just ignorant lames. That's what gamers are, I guess, to Phil, to Dave, to DSP, to Darkside Phil. And that's what makes him think he's so damn special. I don't know. We might have stumbled upon something. We might have.
And then they sit down and they do it for a living. I stumbled into this 10 years ago with a camera pointed at my TV. All right? I'm not like those other people. And I'm not gonna, at 36 years old, I'm not gonna sit down and start to learn these crazy techie shit. Right? I'm just not gonna get...
Wow. I kind of want to go ahead and send you to Review Tech USA now. But you've already talked shit about him, so it is what it is. Speaking of which, though, speaking of Review Tech, I'm actually surprised he never responded to you when that Q&A got linked. Or at least not that I know of. I'm surprised he never made a video addressing that. I'm really, really surprised. Because if it was anybody else, he would have. But he let you slide for some reason. And I want to say that he did it because he felt bad for you. But I don't think it's that. Because I've heard other people critique Review Tech USA, and he's gone at them full force. But he let you slide. I'm surprised by that. Maybe we'll never know. But I'm always curious on why he let you slide on that.
Get into it. If I'm going to do it, I got to do it in the simplest way possible. Have multiple PCs. Okay? Genesis cheered again. He said, through this, you get a high-end PC for a monthly pay. A cloud PC, no lag from what I've seen. Oh, a cloud? Does anyone know about this? A cloud PC, you don't own the PC, but you pay a monthly fee to have a PC virtually over the internet. You play stuff on it. I don't know about the viability of that. That sounds to me like that could potentially have a lot of delay, like a lag, right? Trying to play a game on a cloud PC or whatever experience.
You mean like the lag that you have now? You mean like the lag that you experience every time you get your ass handed to you? Then in the next match, everything's all gravy because you're winning? I'm just saying, Phil. I'm just throwing out facts.
It sounds like it could be delayed like crazy. Especially with, it would be one thing if I lived in Japan and I had fiber optic internet, right? And
you don't have to live in Japan to get fiber optic internet. You can get that here in the United States. I know you don't go outside much, Phil, so you don't know that, but you can get fiber optics here. I think you can even get fiber optics in Seattle. I think. I'll have to look that up. But you don't have to go to Japan to get fiber optics. They may have they may have some of the best fiber optics, but you don't have to get it there. I hear Google fiber optics is pretty good.
And the servers were in Japan for this cloud PC, then probably that would be viable. But in the United States, we have a very weird infrastructure when it comes to internet. There's a ridiculous amount of internet companies, and none of them own the infrastructure. So what that means is they're all competing, and at a moment's notice, one day my internet will be great, and one day my internet is shit. And there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I have business class internet with Comcast, so I could call them and complain and get them to figure out what's wrong and fix it. But in general...
What are you talking about? I have regular internet too, and I don't have business internet. I have regular internet, and I can call and get them to... And I can call them with any type of problem, they'll troubleshoot it. And if they can't troubleshoot it over the phone, I can have someone out here within the hour. So, sounds to me like business class internet ain't shit. At least over there where Phil's at.
In the United States, the internet is not great. I just didn't notice the camera was crooked. The internet is not great for everyone. And so, probably trying to do a cloud setup like that would not work. I'd have days where it just runs like shit no matter what I do.
Yeah, but
it's an interesting premise, and I certainly think as internet infrastructure improves, doing things in the cloud or over the internet virtually would be more viable. But this is just giving me flashbacks. So remember when I had On Live, that console, where it basically was everything streams, nothing's installed to the console, and I never got it to work. Now, that was a while ago. That was over 5 years ago. But just as a perfect example, I never got the fucking console to work because it would always buffer.
Well, you are a bit of a simpleton. You did admit that. So, I mean, just saying. Just point that out because you did say that yourself. So, you've made it very clear that you're certainly not the sharpest knife in the drawer. You're a simple man and you want simple shit. Just saying, but you're more lazy than anything. Like, calling you simple is a nice little cop-out. You're more lazy than anything. You're not willing to try. Which is downright disgraceful, to be honest with you. Downright disgraceful. You know what I mean? If it means so much to him, he would try. But he won't. He wants you to carry him, not even hand in hand. He wants you to carry him on your back, kicking and screaming to the promised land. Too scared to walk. Too scared to sweat. Amazing. Absolutely riveting.
Buffer, and it was supposed to be perfected technology to sell this console, and it didn't even work. So, I don't think that a cloud internet would be viable, or cloud PC would be viable right now. Maybe in the future, like I said, as internet continues to improve, but probably not now, okay? Okay, shout out to the last Rambo. He had 100 cheers, so we got another person who's tying for top cheer. Good lord. He says, God of War had a huge budget. It's a bit unfair to compare that to other $60 games, since they may not have the same high budget. Okay, fair enough, last Rambo. But if that's the case, then the other games shouldn't charge the same amount of money. Real talk. Like, God of War sold for $60 and was an amazing, robust experience. I shouldn't pay $60 and get a game with only online co-op, grindy gameplay, and that's the whole game. Because God of War gave me so much more. And I don't care about the budget. I'm the consumer. I'm the consumer. I am not the person making the game. If the problem is the budget, it's up to the game developers and the publishers to solve that issue. They are the industry creators. I'm the consumer of that industry. So maybe their model doesn't work.
Well, if that's the case, and he's right to a degree, you can't sit there and say that this game should be cost this much and this game should cost that much. Don't buy it and wait till the price drops, which is what intelligent people do. Like, see, that's the thing that Phil, and this is what I had said, I think I said this in another video, maybe I said it in this video, where the concept of being the first one to play a game or playing new releases all the time is fading itself out. He needs to change his business practice, because if he don't, he's going to have problems. And this is one of them. To sit there and say, because don't get me wrong, Phil's not the only person to say that. He won't be the last on saying that, oh, these games should cost this much and these games should cost this much. You don't actually have an idea of what's going to happen in the overall scheme of things if it was done that way. Because now you may have people that are willing to pay more money just to support this studio. It's not necessarily about just supporting that particular game that you're buying right then and there, but it's to support future projects and whatnot. So now you could very well be giving companies like, I don't know, like Activision, for example, the green light that they need. They'd be like, hey, if you want the next Call of Duty if you want the Call of Duty 2 games from now to be absolutely amazing, you're gonna have to pay $160 for this game. I'm sorry, it's the only way you're gonna have to do it, because that's the only way we can guarantee you the best product for that game 2 years down the line. That doesn't mean you're getting the game for free, though. You still got to buy that game. You're just paying the extra money to guarantee that that game is going to be really, really good. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at that. People, and that's the whole situation with the gaming industry or any industry. Any way you can get more money out of the consumer, the better. Because, to be honest with you, most gaming companies or most businesses in general look at consumers like sheep. And because they're sheep, because some of these companies believe that you're stupid, you're willing to pay whatever you're going to pay. And trust me, if the gaming industry could have jacked up the price of games, they would have. But they don't, because, oh, well, you guys will pay for microtransactions. You guys will pay for items that you don't really own, that's just ones and zeros, that you physically can't do anything with, and is useless outside of this particular game. You'll pay for that? You'll pay top dollar for it? You'll keep coming back and paying for it? Well, fucking A, man. Who cares about raising the price of games? We got them on this. And then you get publishers like EA who just got way too greedy and then screwed up the whole thing for everybody. So you have to look at it that way. Or that's just one frame of thought, to be honest with you. But to sit there and say this game should be worth this much and that game is worth that much, don't do that. Just don't buy the game right away. Just wait. And there's nothing wrong with waiting. You know what I'm saying? But don't sit there and try to put a definitive price on a product when most people won't even feel that same way. Yeah, is God of War a great game, or is it visually splendid? Sure. To be honest with you, I think they could have fleshed the story out a little more, which they will in the sequel. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's not a bad game. I certainly don't. I don't think you should feel like you're ripped off. But there's a lot of people. Excuse me. There's a lot of people who don't feel the same. And so, if they did jack their price up for God of War, for example, instead of it being 60, they charged 100 for it. How many people are going to be willing to pay 100 to get it? Now you start getting into fanboy status type shit, and then that becomes a little bit harder. Paying $60 for a game is one thing, and you kind of got to pick and choose if you have multiple releases coming out. How hard is it going to be for you to justify paying $100 a game? I'm just throwing it out there. DSP News.
Maybe they have a business model that doesn't fucking work, right?
Like
and
yours.
they need to fix their model. Whether they find a way to get bigger budgets or they find a way to change pricing on games, right? What about equivalent pricing? God of War is a full and robust video game experience, charged $60. Another game, didn't have as good of a budget, has 1/10 of the content of God of War, charged $20 for it. That's the problem, is that these games are coming out, charge me full price for a game that's not even 1/10 of the content of another game I just paid full price for. How can you even equate that to something of value or quality? You can't. And that's the problem with the gaming industry. You get completely inequivalent gameplay experiences for the same equivalent amount of purchase. It shouldn't be, not every game should be $60. I'm just saying, maybe there should be, and some people may disagree with me here, maybe there should be some games that are more expensive. Maybe God of War should have been $100 if the equivalent trade-off for that is that the multiplayer-only grindy co-op games are $20. See what I mean? It'll even out in the long run, but the problem is the industry just wants to sell everything for the same price and make a dirty profit on it, How is it fair to the God of War game devs that they charge $60 for their game, they make a ton of profit for a big budget? Another company that had a small budget puts out a piece of shit game and sells it for $60 and makes a ridiculous amount of profit. Why do they deserve that over the game devs of God of War, who put in way more time, effort, and skill into their game? You see what I mean? That's the problem with the games industry right now. But real talk, it's not equivalent. It's just they still think that because this is an emerging industry and games are for kids, they still have this mentality. Games are not serious business. They're for kids. Therefore, we can fuck around and do whatever we want. We can release a piece of shit game for $60. Not going to work like that anymore. Really, it's just not. You're going to have this bubble is going to burst, and eventually these fads are going to die out. And what the problem is right now, people are really heavily buying into the marketing. How many people bought Destiny 2 or Destiny 1 because the marketing was outstanding? You saw ads for it everywhere on television. They were telling you it was a groundbreaking gameplay experience that was going to change the way you think about video games. You buy the game, but if you're a gamer, you realize it's Halo combined with Borderlands. There's nothing original about this game. It's a grind fest, and it's pretty crappy. But so many people bought into the hype, the marketing hype, got fooled by it, and now everyone's playing it, so now they feel like they're part of this viral experience of gaming because everyone's playing the same game at once. And they end up saying it's a good game when in reality it wasn't. If you look at it on paper, subjectively, it wasn't a good game.
But that's your opinion. And what someone believes on paper is not a good game, and how that translates to the people who actually picked up and bought it, and the people who sunk hours upon hours, if not days worth, into it and got their enjoyment out of it, are two different things. So don't sit there and try to play the industry standards on, oh, well, the game really wasn't that great because it was just a combination of these. Yet you have this huge fan base here that pushed the narrative on it, loved it so much, and then they made a sequel. And then they fucked up the sequel. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yet again, that's still just somebody's opinion. And that's all you're kind of providing now. You didn't like Destiny, so all of a sudden, oh, well, on paper, it wasn't great, it was terrible. But all these people liked it anyway, even though it was just a steaming piece of shit. Yeah, well, some people have said that about the games that you like, too. And you got all butthurt about it. So, it is what it is. And in truth, Phil, some of the games that you chose weren't very good. I'm not going to call them steaming piles of shit, but they weren't very good.
Now, of course, they improve things with expansions and the like that you pay more money for. But that's the point I'm making is...
But no one's forcing you to pay more money. If you choose to pay it, if you choose to do that, you choose to do it. It's just like with Call of Duty when it comes to the maps. You know what I'm saying? Like map packs and shit like that. I mean, this year you weren't supposed to do that. You weren't supposed to pay for map packs. You were supposed to get it for free. But if I remember correctly, they just said for the battle royale, those would be free, not the actual multiplayer maps. But that's drawing at straws. That's just drawing at straws. If you're buying a game that has microtransactions or whatnot, you don't have to buy them. You don't. There's nothing that says that you have to. If same thing with buying maps, people buy them so they can, not only A, experience a different environment, but B, hopefully be on the same type of maps or get paired up with their friends and so on and so forth. It sucks being only on one map or only on a small group of maps, I should say. But no one's making you buy it. You still made the choice to do so. It is what it is. I hate when people try to do that. Well, I wouldn't say I hate because I don't care that much. But I don't like when people are like, oh, they're forcing us to do that. No one's forcing you to do a damn thing. Just don't buy it. Period. Just don't buy it. If you lack you know what I'm saying? Just don't buy it. I'm not going to even go any further than that. You don't have to. No one's got a gun to your head saying that you need this. You know what I mean? That's why they don't ever say in commercials, you need this. They say you should experience this. They word it differently. But like I said, if you bought it, no one put a gun to your head and told you to swipe your card. That was on you. And you take what you take. Sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's not. You gotta pick and choose.
This gaming industry is so weird. Because now, you put out a crappy movie, right? And you try to charge the same amount of money to go see this crappy movie as other movies, the movie will not succeed. And that's why you've got straight-to-digital movie models. You've got these indie movie models, or different ways to put them out that not are necessarily in a movie theater, but find other ways to get them to the consumer. Netflix, right? How many Netflix-only movies do we have now? And so that whole movie industry is changing because it's so much in its maturity. Video games is still in its infancy, and we haven't gotten to that point yet, so we get these crazy inequivalent experiences for the same price. So I agree with you, Last Rambo. Maybe it's not fair for me to say, man, God of War is such a great game because
I wouldn't say it's in its infancy. I'd say it's in its adolescence. And we're slowly but surely jacking it up. So there you go on that. But it's certainly not in its infancy. It's in its adolescence for sure.
An insanely huge budget, and it's had so much time to be worked on. But at the same time, it isn't within my right to say, fair enough then, but God of War should not be the same price as all the inferior games. There you go.
Sounds to me like you're just hyping up God of War. That's what that sounds like. And we all saw how that went for him. God of War didn't exactly save him, so.
Valiant. Just cheers. The DSP wants to get a new gaming PC. I can't wait to see how this ends up again. I didn't say I wanted a new gaming PC. I said I don't even think that, honestly, real talk, I don't think it would benefit me that much. Most of the games I play are easily and readily available on console. There have been very few exceptions where I needed a gaming PC. Okay? What I think it is that there's a misconception. A lot of professional streamers play on PC. I know this. They sit at their PC setups. That's why my webcam is so different, right? You see me playing the game, I'm sitting on a love seat. What the hell? What's Phil doing there? Most people are at their computers and have a green screen behind them, right? Because they're PC gamers. I'm not.
I wonder if he's going to talk about that bounty thing. Okay, so this is basically what this was. Twitch had, because someone actually had private messaged me, or someone hit me up on Twitter, one of the two, and they were telling me about it, where Twitch has this thing, this program, I should say, where if you play certain PC games, you get like a little bit extra. You get like a bonus for it. Okay, and it was people were kind of waiting to see if Phil would jump on it, which would make him a shill. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it, because he's only in it for the money. It's not about the game. But whatever. But people were waiting for Phil to jump on it. Phil didn't do it because I think they only focus primarily on PC games. Now, keep in mind, they just started this program, so eventually it'll branch out, maybe. And it'll certainly be directed towards certain games. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like Fallout. Like, maybe 1 month it'll be Fallout. Maybe another month it'll be Call of Duty. Maybe another month it'll be Tekken. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Maybe another month it'll be Last of Us. You know, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But it hasn't gotten there yet. And Phil hasn't been able to cash in. Now, how much are they making? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't hear anybody really running around bragging about it, but anytime Phil can pick up easy money, you know more than often than not, he's going to try to, take advantage of the situation. But I guess we'll see.
I've never been. I always enjoy more relaxed setup, playing on on a couch or a love seat and having consoles and play like that rather than me hunched over in front of my computer trying to play a game. All right, and I think
You're hunched over on your love seat sometimes, but whatever.
there's a lot of misconceptions. It's just in regard. I'll give you an example here. So Twitch launched this initiative, bounties they call it. Play a certain game for a certain amount of time as a promotional event,
Okay,
and get paid money. Guess what? Every single
and get paid money. Like, the way he talks about money is awkward, I guess, because it's almost as if he tries not to come across overly excited about it, and yet he tries not to come across overly excited about it, but yet you can see how eager he is about it. And then I also like how he tries to talk about money like it's just a dirty, filthy thing. Even though when you go back a couple years ago, well, a few years ago, it was all the gravy train, son. You know what I mean? He didn't have any qualms about it then, but he seems to have a bunch of qualms about it now. Like money in some way corrupted him, or money led him astray. No. See, that's the whole thing. That goes back to the whole lottery theory. If you're a miserable piece of shit before you win the lottery, you're going to be just as miserable afterwards. Money doesn't fix those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're someone who you like sharing, you know what I'm saying, you're a people person, you kind of like to spread the wealth, you'll probably do that when it comes to your lottery, or your lottery money. And there have been plenty of lottery winners have done that and gone broke or been killed over it. Sadly. But the way Phil describes money and how other people obtain that money, I should say, is something that you should definitely pay attention to moving forward. It's one of those aspects into the mind of Phil that shows you his disdain for people who do better than him, even though he used to flaunt his wealth, he used to flaunt his success in front of others and whatnot shamelessly, did it without any qualms, and was expected to be just to let him slide because he was the man allegedly at that time. But now you got other people who are doing it with way less effort and who just have way more talent and charisma than he is, and than he has, I should say, and he hates it. He can barely contain himself. Hence the reason why that Twitch situation happened. What are you gonna do?
single bounty they've offered since they launched this program like 2-3 weeks ago is PC only. And I gave them feedback. I actually went back to them. I'm like, you realize that there's a huge chunk of gamers on planet Earth who are not PC only. Just because there's this stigma or stereotype that people who stream for a living on Twitch are PC gamers doesn't mean we all are. And, you know, it's cool that you have this program that allows people to earn bounties. I mean, I think the program is very generous, but why aren't you offering console games? I've been playing a ridiculous amount of console games that probably could use...
He actually gave feedback to these people and be like, hey man, why don't you cut me in on this? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to play on a PC, man. I represent this market that is on console. You know, you should cut me into this. Eventually they'll get to you, Phil. You'll wait. Just like everything else in life that you've ever had. You'll wait until someone passes it to you. Until someone hands it to you. Until someone gets around to doing it. When someone gets around to you, that's when you'll be served. Just like pretty much how your life has been, since you depend on everybody else so much. So you'll wait. You'll wait till they get around to you.
There's extra promotion, right? And you're not allowing me to do that because every game you offer...
You're not allowing me to do that. They don't have to cut you in on the program. I would assume this program's open to everybody. But it doesn't mean it has to be readily available to everybody. They'll get to you when they get to you. You're not a priority, Phil. Go ahead and treat that shit like it's YouTube and get yourself kicked off for the third time. And probably the last.
It's like PC only, and a lot of them are older games too. And I'm like, what's the point of this program? So, yeah, no, I'm not looking for a new gaming PC. I'm really not right now. Random Ghost tipped me $1. He says, I like how you're basing the industry on your opinion of the games, but what about the guy that doesn't like God of War? Should the game be cheaper for him? No, because it's subjective. How much content and the production, no one can say, looking at God of War on PS4, this game looks like shit. That is a factually incorrect statement. You can look apples to apples at the visuals of God of War versus the visuals of other games and say this game looks good. The amount of content in God of War has a lot of content. The complexity of the combat engine. Maybe it's not your cup of tea.
You mean when you were throwing an axe for like 20, 30 episodes? Or 3 hours or whatever it was? That was complexity? To the point where you were banning people because they were like, Phil, there are other skills that you have right now. Use those skills instead of just throwing the axe. You mean that type of complexity? Just saying. Just saying, because people remember, Phil. People remember.
But you can't argue that it's not a complex combat engine that will give you replayability. See what I mean? There's subjective means and subjective criteria you can use.
It's obvious that he's talking from a place of bias. That's fine, but you're not selling anybody on this argument.
To measure a pricing of a game. Hell, if you even want to say you had a bigger budget and had more development time, the game's more expensive, I'm okay with that. Because in general, games with bigger budgets, more development time, end up being better games.
Really?
See what I mean?
What?
I'm not basing it on my objective, or excuse me, my subjective opinion. I'm basing it on objective facts. I think I said subjective earlier. I'm basing it on objective, facts, not a subjective, it was my game of the year pick, so it should be more expensive. No, objectively, looking at apples to apples, you can see that God of War has a lot more to it than a lot of other games that come out in the modern era. Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. It was a good game, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Do I feel like it needs the sucking that he was giving off? No, but whatever. Whatever. Oh my god. All right, guys. So there's Phil's feedback. Hope you guys found it insightful. It wasn't horrible. I will give the man that. It wasn't horrible, but take that with a grain of salt and make your own conclusions. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on at GTG Network and Productions. I am your host / anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. In the broadcast.